The next woman coming up is super boring and really lacks personality. So sad. She really doesn't. Her name is Michelle Lucero. We kind of hit it off. The game show, she's like, it's not really a game show, but I totally want to go on there, is Lip Sync Battle. And Michelle, I will now formally invite you to do that with me at a future Ignite, you and me, lady. She hasn't seen Casablanca. I haven't either. Show of hands, who hasn't seen Casablanca? All right, sweet, you're not alone, Michelle. And if she could sponsor anything, it would be sugar-free Red Bull and vodka. And actually said she would bathe in it if she could. You can, by the way. That's an option. It'd be sticky, but it's an option. She would name her boat Storm, which is also her laser tag and paintball moniker. That's not intimidating. And her song is Some Kind of Wonderful by Grand Funk Railroad. Last but not least, not talking about my boobs, going to talk about hers. She said that the compliment that she wishes she would get is that she has great boobs. So if any point during the evening she asked for it, you guys, it's on my card. She wishes someone would tell her she has great boobs. So I'm just putting it out there, no pressure. She's also an amazing speaker and has an amazing family. So bring it all up. Bring it all up. Applaud, Michelle.
So I'm a soccer mom, general counsel of an amazing organization, a community volunteer, and some would say a pretty fucking powerful woman. But none of that really matters, because what I really am passionate about is raising up a strong young woman and mentoring other women in the community. You see, I've got 3 great kids. I'll talk about my sons on another Ignite Talk. But given all that women are facing today, I'm going to take the next 5 minutes to talk about girls and everything that we can do, right? Because I'll tell you, this story. Let me take to the story fast forward here. In 2016, my daughter Alex became the member, actually she earned the title of national champion for soccer for USC. 1.5% of all student athletes get that opportunity. And I break this down to, people ask me, well, how did you do it? Well, I sort of bucket it in 3 areas. Let me go through those with you. First, character. So what does character bring? Let me give you some nuggets. The first one is you gotta have passion. My baby girl was never gonna be a ballerina. She was a little too strong as far as mindset and leadership, in the sense of she wanted to run shit, right? But when you put that girl on a soccer field, that was her jam. I mean, she was running all over the place and making things happen. The second nugget that I want to talk about is don't let them, people used to tell me, you know what, she doesn't play pretty soccer. I was like, fuck that, she's a strong athlete, right? So I said, you know what, do not coach the aggressiveness out of that kid. So whatever your differentiator is, don't let them coach it out of you. Because whether it's in a boardroom or on a soccer field, I want that kid next to me. The third nugget is, exactly, you gotta learn how to win and lose with grace. Winning's easy. But when you got to walk off that field with a loss, or walk out of that boardroom with a loss, or in my case, walk out of that courtroom with a loss, you better do it with grace. The next big bucket, attitude. It's all about the attitude. It's how you wake up in the morning, how you go to bed at night, and every minute in between. So what are those components of attitude? Let me take you through a few of them. No quitting. In my world, you know what? Quitters never win, winners never quit. You start something, you finish that shit. You didn't like it, you should have started it and began with, right? You finish it every time, because that's going to be that attitude that takes you forward. Next, have fun. Good night. Life is so fucking hard. Have fun with it. In my job description at work, I put in there must have a sense of humor. Because if you can't work with me and have a sense of humor, you're out, right? We have got to have a sense of humor in life. The third thing, that as far as that attitude, is sense of self. I mean, my girl is half Latina and half black. She's got curves, baby. And they are not going anywhere. But to have that healthy, strong sense of self, especially when 1 out of 7 women have an eating disorder and 36% of our adolescents have some kind of image issue, we have got to be raising mindsets of strong, healthy young women. The next piece was, leadership. Because all this has to do is being that leader both in the classroom, on the field, in life. So when I mentored my kid or when I mentor other women, leadership is it. And just for quickly, competitive sports itself, they did a study and talked about in the corporate world, in the C-suite, 52% of the women that ended up in a C-suite started in competitive sports of some nature. So there is a connectivity there. Some of those things that I taught her is first, advocate for yourself. Because you know what? Mama's not going to talk to the coach. You need to talk to the coach. Advocate. Teach these young women that you are mentoring how to advocate for themselves. Secondly, it's all about team, right? Because I'll tell you what, if one of her team members got felled, she took it personally and someone was going to pay for that. In the boardroom, someone messes with one of her teammates, same thing is going to happen. Third, be a good role model. And you are a role model at all times. You're not cussing. Mama can do the cussing. You can't. Because there are little girls looking up to you. And last but not least in this area, education. Because you know what? That's what you're going to be able to take home at the end of the day. I told that girl, you can be a great soccer player, but you damn well be a better student in the end there. And finally, it takes a village. I couldn't do this myself. I made sure to surround herself with strong, passionate, brilliant women and men who could lift her up when I didn't have the strength to do it or was just too spent at that end of the day. So in the end, character, attitude, leadership. Raise them up, baby. Thank you.
I love women who support women. I loved her talk too, especially because one, I have a daughter, and two, I needed to hear that we need to advocate for ourselves more. I think a serious cat moment. In today's society, we as women have to put up with so much sexual harassment and everything else that standing up for ourselves is paramount, and speaking up and letting your voice be heard is also super important. So get out there. We're smart. I know I've talked about my tits a lot, but my brain's a lot better. Yeah. And Michelle is freaking brilliant. My colleague was like, you should Google her sometime. And I did. And holy crap, that woman is a beast. By the way, I tried doing sports. Shockingly, it did not work out for me. I might have jumped in place and torn my ACL, and then ran away from a possum on a flight of stairs and torn my other ACL, and then tore another one again. I tore my cadaver ligament by walking through a Buca di Beppo. So even if